Should be a black line on top you can X out and in the new version of Zoom. And if you agree. So, all right. I think I have to direct it over to Nick, which is in my left-hand side over here.
I guess the update that I have is that Frank and I went to Mount St. Vincent in this sort of continuing saga of Mount St. Vincent. Just to give some context, a while ago there was an effort to replace the node that was at Mount St. Vincent from a Rocket M2 with an omnidirectional antenna to a panel antenna with a 120-degree sort of emission pattern and a new MikroTik router board based radio. We did that. After we did that, we found pretty poor connectivity. It was not able to make connections with many other nodes, not reliable connections for sure. It wasn't really clear what was going on. So Frank and I sort of talked about this a little bit and thought, why don't we keep the panel antenna, but swap out the radio to go back to the Rocket M2? Partially because Tom was having a lot of problem with the router board, that it would like reboot 5 times on every startup, and it would take 5 to 10 minutes to get booted up. So it's just very suspicious, right? So we swapped it out. We put back in the Rocket M2. We turned off link quality management, which is a feature in the last year or so. Arden has this link quality management feature, which will, for connections that aren't very good, it'll refuse those connections and just not use them at all. So we turned off link quality management. We put in the Rocket M2. We got more encouraging results, like better connections. So for instance, Frank has a node that was able to connect all of a sudden. We saw slightly better signal to noise ratios with things like Beacon Hill. But all of that said, it's still not great. We also lost its HAM-WAN IP address, so now we can't do remote debugging of it. It's not clear why it didn't get a HAM-WAN IP address. Doug thinks that it's not asking for one, which is like a whole, another problem to fix now. I did also do some debugging and looking at Beacon Hill. And let me see if I can share that. Yeah, so here's what Beacon Hill looks like. All of these that are just IP addresses are not actual connections. For whatever reason, they won't form a neighbor. So Beacon Hill only has one real active neighbor, and that's the internet-based tunnel to the EOC. So it has 0 RF neighbors, which is not encouraging, right? So, and this isn't Mount St. Vincent anymore, right? This is on Beacon Hill. This is the Beacon Hill node. This is after Doug turned off link quality management. So these connections should be live. These 0 NLQs, I think that's supposed to be what does the neighbor think that the link quality is. But I know this is Mount St. Vincent, and I know for a fact that Mount St. Vincent thinks that the connection is like between 70 and 80%. So I don't know why it's saying that this is 0%. I don't know why it's not connecting. I don't know. So I don't know what's up with that, but it's, I guess we thought that there was just a problem with Mount St. Vincent, but now it looks like Beacon does not look very healthy either. And I think that Doug upgraded this to the latest version. Yeah, this is running the latest Arden version. It's been rebooted, so I'm not sure what to make of that. But you know, these are should be two like backbone core nodes, but they are not performing very well. So I haven't really thought through what is next for those, but that's those are the latest updates that I have to share.
Thanks for that. And you've had your hands pretty full with several other projects of late,
Mm-hmm.
and probably going into the end of the month, you'll be busy. So um, thank you for all that work and the troubleshooting and the thoughts behind it. I'm not sure. It looks like we really need a face-to-face meeting of you know, um, you, Frank, and DK, Doug Kingston, on site at Beacon probably to see what issues there may be and taking in, just for an example, an updated TP link, taking that and seeing if if that makes any difference. I mean, I'm not saying that TP link is better, no way. But I'm saying that there may be some bad equipment somewhere, and we're just trying to duplicate the run and maybe, I don't know. I guess I'm just talking out my backside, but
No, I think your idea of and especially trying to be like I guess I've done tests on the roof at Mount St. Vincent, talking to the Mount St. Vincent node, but it'd be interesting to go elsewhere in that neighborhood, not all the way across town, but sort of nearby, and see if we can get a stable connection. Because I think Mount St. Vincent is healthier now than it was 2 weeks ago.
Mount St. Vincent should be accessible from Ken, AB7X,
Yeah.
if he has his node up.
Yeah. I don't know if he does. I did not see it at all
And then
when
there's
we were there last.
Kurt. Kurt is close by.
Yes, and we could see Kurt, and from Mount St. Vincent, it seemed like Kurt's node was connected,
Yeah.
and that connection seemed fairly good. So it could be that Beacon Hill is not healthy. It is another thing to note is Beacon Hill is running the same MikroTik router board that we pulled out at Mount St. Vincent. So I don't know if that's relevant, but it seems suspicious.
Okay, so here's a resource on top of Brookdale, Alaska. We don't know if that's up or down. I think the last time we looked, it was turned on, but we don't know if it was connecting to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that equipment needs to be repurposed because it's too close to Providence anyway. Put that over on Beacon.
Yeah, that's a really interesting idea. And I think Doug would be because that's ACS equipment on Beacon. So we talking to Doug about that might be useful.
Yeah. I'm unfortunately being removed during the week. I'm limited on my time to do any kind of interfacing on the weekends. And this weekend is totally booked up with Cindy tearing down her laurel bushes. So that's why I had to bring the truck up. Hey, John, what you got going? Anything?
Nothing new for mesh.
Thank you for sending out the email. For some reason, I go to my Zoom and I try to click on my schedule, and I know my Zoom has the WASARC meeting every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I couldn't find it tonight. And if it wasn't for your email, I wouldn't have been able to get on tonight. So thank you for that.
Uh,
So, Rob, you already said that you were down in Arizona. You don't have too many neighbors. What do you think is going to be your plans within the six to 8 months? You're not transmitting, but you're not muted.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Regarding Arden or in general?
Yeah, Arden.
Well, I'd like to set up a node or two down here and see if I can actually talk to anybody. Um, I've got, I don't know, probably about 10 different devices with Arden installed, and I just need to update a few of them. But the nodes that I do see on the map around here, I think there's like 4, maybe 5. I'm not sure if they're even active. It looks like their uh, software hasn't been updated in a while for most of them. There is one a few blocks away from my location, so hopefully if I put out one of my, I forgot which one it is, uh, my outdoor uh, Arden mesh, is it a 410? No, it's can't remember. But if I put that up and aim it towards his location, maybe I might be able to connect to something. Otherwise, I'll have to do a tunnel from here if I want any type of connectivity.
Um, you might want to go do an eyeball QSO and hand him your a QSL card, maybe if you have one, so you can make face-to-face contact and do a hey, what are you using? Well, here's what I have. Well, maybe I can adjust this, and you can, that helped the guys down in Vancouver, Washington. There was a couple of guys that used to come to our meetings, and they um, finally got online at the same time, and they were able to coordinate getting their equipment to talk to each other.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look, and I'll also contact a few of the local, like I forget what they call it, the Yuma Amateur Radio Club, YARC, and YACS groups, and
Something like,
see if there's.
aren't they called the Desert Rats or something like that?
That's actually the club the friend of mine's part of up in around Phoenix, I believe.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and yeah, they're huge up there. I think that's the Desert Rats. But yeah, that's they've got a lot of activity up around Phoenix, but large metro area, of course, you'll have something. But
Yeah.
down here, I was hoping that, since I couldn't get away, I was hoping for field day to be able to participate in something, but there wasn't any activity down here in Yuma, so
Oh, that's too bad.
that was disappointing. But at
Two
least
years,
our
two
club
years.
and or Blaine or yeah, the up in Bellingham, Mount Baker Amateur Radio Club and Blaine ACS, they hosted some field day activities. So they had some fairly decent activity and a lot of visitors and whatnot. So had, had fun. And the weather was great this time. It wasn't like it was a few years ago where I think it was like 100 and some odd degrees, no wind, no nothing. It was just miserable.
Mm.
Everybody's just baking out there. But
Okay. I was just thinking, John, do you have a view of Beacon Hill?
No, I sure don't.
Okay, because that building A or B is in your way, right?
Yeah, from my location, the A building is blocking my view. Plus, there's a hillside too.
Mm. And Nick, I forgot to ask when you were talking, did Jim Edwards do his telephone test that he wanted to do for the parade? I didn't see it
No,
down where I was at.
we did not set up any Arden mesh for the
Okay.
parade this year.
That was a great idea, chaining them to the middle of the island.
Yeah, it was. I think we just sort of, between all this stuff on Mount St. Vincent, we lost steam, and we were swapping equipment in and out that we wanted to use for that. So it just got too complicated.
Okay. And then with the advent of the ISS project, that's taken all consuming energy from everybody just about. I
Yeah,
got to go back and read those emails.
but I think it's gonna be good. I think we're actually, despite the challenges we're having, I think we're actually in good shape for the day of. The staff are all super supportive and friendly and willing to learn. I think the hardest part is that they are just so risk averse on the roof in particular.
Right.
Like they're
Right.
fine with us running cable through the building.
Yeah.
Like we're doing a cable pull through like 2 random people's office, and they're just they're totally cool with that, but they're
Yeah.
just terrified of anybody getting up on the roof. So
Yeah. Because there's no fall protection.
yeah.
Um, Shoot, what was I going to say about that? Oh, my insurance policy covers me for doing work like that, which if I didn't want to take it on as a job, so to
Mhm.
speak, but I have $1 million insurance policy for that purpose. So if
Dead or
anybody
alive?
get liability,
Mhm.
Is that dead or alive?
dead or alive, yeah, most likely if it's below 20 feet, I'll land on my head. After that, I'll land on my ass. Um, Shoot, I know there was something else that flittered through my brain. Okay, last round of anything anybody forgot?
I thought I would share with Nick, maybe you guys are interested, that I put something on the website, which I'm hoping will develop into something. This is, I'm starting to use this new plugin, and I can put stuff on the homepage. This is the West Salem Amateur homepage. And so this other stuff is just, old stuff. So it's there just for visual. But this is the West Salem Amateur, the Assisting Pacific Science Center set up amateur radio. So what I did was I took some of the emails I received and put them into a post. And so like this is the ICOM video, and this is Eric's update. And then here's the link to the photos that he's been taking. There are ton of photos. And this came from Nick, and this was put on onto the calendar. So I think if we write up things in such a way that they can be posted, I'm willing to take that on, so that we can add this program. It's called Grid and Filter and Grids is the name of it, and we can set up all kinds of conditions on what comes up on the page, and using short codes, I can have different kinds of grouping of topics. So just throw that out there. We can probably do a lot of interesting things. I know that we have one of the downsides to the website is that it's not very useful in terms of what's new or what's coming, except for the calendar. And this might help us get some things out, a little more easy.
Yeah, I think this is
Okay.
great. Yeah, I think it's really nice to have something relevant on the front page.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got the one thing that's from August 7th which is like yesterday, which is fantastic. The next one is from 2020, which, like you said, right, we just don't have enough like recent stuff to talk about. So
Yeah. So Nick, when you come up with an interesting topic, let's get together, put our heads together, and put together a post on there. And a visual always helps. So this is the
Right.
only visual I found that was easy to comprehend. Most of the other visuals I had were kind of down in the weeds.
Does that
Mhm.
show the antenna on the roof?
No, you'd have to go to
Oh.
the. No, I could have. Well, I didn't have a good shot of the antenna on the roof. But if I find one, I can substitute out this image.
Well, check with your friends at NSA and see if they've done a satellite pass. Cool. Good job, John. Well, no use in holding people from supper or dessert, whichever the case may be. So thank you all for showing up tonight. We look forward to seeing you next month. See, that would be in September. And not sure on the date, but you can
I think
count
the
on it.
12th, September 12th.
Yeah,
That's what's on
second
my,
Thursday.
yeah.
Okay. So September 12th then, and we'll gather again about 7-ish and then go on the recorder at 7:30. But thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to go back and try and get some